Alright, so what we're going to do in this video is the two middle of the month energy on sites, which are Ballarto and Hall Rd. And for these, if we have a look at the data source, data entry, we are going to get into the dreaded M cubed that we love so very much. So, as I was saying about the probe data, so obviously when we have, if we go back and just review what we know about the probes. So when we have probe data, we have typically for billing reads, so, current reads, we have the EBR files, which come from the Landison gear meters or the red phone meters. We have the RDG files, which typically start at 2.1 and they come from the EDMI meters. But then the third type that we have are M cubed meters. And so the way that these come through are you'll see them coming in folders labeled with their meter number. And if you double click on them, there's a little .emd. And that is for M cubed. So we could double click this and just kind of, oh, hello, open that up. And it gives you whatever this is in this menu. You can have a look through these menus, but I don't really look at these ever. The only thing we want with these is to process them. And I will show you how we do that right now. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the M cube data. Now, Alan reads Ballarto and Hall Rd. If not Alan, then usually Tanya. So what I do first, I go in, I just basically grab everything and I put it into my data current folder, including the M cubed. Even though we don't work it out of here, we don't work on it out of this folder. This is like data current folder. Pretty much everything goes in here, and then I zip it and hold on to it for, I think Brent used to say a few months and then you can delete it. I've just been holding on to it. I'll probably delete it at some point. But yeah, everything, all of the data I have goes into this one folder, and I just take the stuff out that I need. So in this instance, we can see that we've got these folders, and in these folders are our EMD files, which is our M cubed data. And so I usually just sort by name, and I'll hold shift and click, and I'll just take all of these folders and I'll copy them. And then once I copy them, now this is just on my computer, the way it's set up. I've got a folder that we get M cubed data out of. That I put my M cubed data into. I'll just delete it from here. It's probably taking a bit too long. And paste it in here. Okay. So what I have two folders set up. I'll just get rid of the old stuff from last month. I'll have my M cubed data, which is where I put the files I want to export the data from. And then I'll have an M cubed results folder, which is in here. I've got one file that will be my probe files. One folder is for my probe files, which is the billing data, and then one folder for the interval data that I get. And in another video, I'll show you kind of how you can set that up. You only need to set it up once, and once you've set it up once, it's a pretty quick process. So all of my Ballarto and Hall Rd M cubed data is in here. Once it's in this M cubed data folder, you open M cubed, which is this 2cog program, and it looks a little bit like this. So this is M cubed. This is the exact same program that is on each of the reader's tablets. So in theory, you could connect and read using this computer. And you can also process the data from a tablet. So, you know, if for some reason your computer's not working, you're not able to convert MCube data, you can use one of the reader's tablets and just put it on there and do it locally on their tablet. So what we're going to do, along here we have a few options. The only one we really need is utilities along the top. And in utilities on the left, you will have export manager. So we click and open that, export manager. And then this window will open here, which is the export manager window. And as you can see, it's pretty basic. There's nothing in here right now. On the top left, the first one that's here says profiles. Now, the first time, if you haven't set anything up, you'll have an export template that you do, but I'll explain that in the other video. But basically, once you have the profile set up, all you need to do is click this little arrow down here, and you'll have two profiles that you can use. The first is billing reads, and the second is interval reads. So you'll need to know based on the site whether you need billing reads or interval. All of them need billing reads, but depending on the site, you're not sure whether you'll need interval reads. So in Victoria, from Society, you'll need interval reads for selected meters. In New South Wales, in Charleston, is 100% interval reads, and you don't need billing reads. Ballarto and Hall Rd, in this instance, it's just billing reads. Unless you get a specific request from Energy On that they want interval data, you will pretty much always just be doing billing reads. So again, we click on this little drop down and we go billing reads, and it processes, and in here you can see the serial number of this many meters, and this will be identical to the meters that are in our MCube data folder, because that's where it's looking for the data. Once you've got that, just click start. Done. All right, and you can see over here on the left, these all have little ticks. If something didn't process correctly, there'll be a cross on it. Sometimes you'll get duplicates, like here. That obviously means that Alan has probed it twice, or 3 times in this instance. Twice here. 1, 2, 3 reads. Could be a number of reasons for that, but most likely is that he either couldn't remember that he did it, or wasn't sure and just wanted to do it again, or there was some kind of issue when he probed it, and he had to start it again. So yeah, once you've got all these will be all ticked, and you can see that there's an output here in the probe export. Now, if we go back into our folders, back out into embedded. Now, from MCube data, we go into our MCube results folder. Again, this will be different depending on how you set it up. You've got your probe files and you've got your interval data. Again, remember, we did our billing reads, so we just need the probe files. And in here now, we have our new probe export document. And if we open this up, oh, there it is. Boom. We can see that we have our probe export folder. Now, as you can see, this obviously looks a little bit different. Firstly, there's no header explaining what column is what. There's also zeros in the peak column where that usually is. The off peak is full and the shoulder is empty, and then there's another extra column. On your Stream Deck, it will automatically have the macros that you need to use for them. Okay, because basically once we have this open, all we now need to do is we use this in the same way that we use the other probe export documents or data. So instead of using the other one, we use this one, and we use our M-cubed shortcuts. So I'll just kind of show you, where's my Word document gone? Boom. Okay, you can see here, so I've kind of written them down. But basically, when you do a probe export, this is what spits out. When you click on the Stream Deck, this is what it spits out. So you can see our VLOOKUP here. This is for app sheet, so look in meter ID. So when we're just doing the meter ID, like an normal one, you see it's using column 2, column 3, 4, 5, 6, blah, blah, blah. Meter ID. So when it's using the end of month data, it goes 7, 8, 9, 10, blah, 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 blah. Now when we're using the M cubed stuff, instead of going 2, 3, 4, we're going 2, column 2. So that'll be, let's just compare these. And we're using this. So we're going column 2, which is this column. We're going column 4, which is this column. Column 5, this column. Column 6, this column. Then we have 2 zeros. So we have the 2 zeros here. I believe this is shoulder 2, and this is export. So obviously you've got over here, you've got your total, you've got your peak, shoulder, off peak, shoulder 2, which is always going to be 0 because there is no shoulder 2 data processed from here. Your export, which there is no export data from M cubed. Your max demand, so which is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16. And then the date, which is 18. 17, 18. And so when you press the M cubed stuff, these are the columns it will take. Okay, when you press M cubed current anyway. M cubed EOM, it's a bit different. So you're taking number 7, 9, 8. This is bizarre, but I think it's because this is always zeros. 11. Then 2 zeros again. 17, and then you're just putting in EOM, so what the end of month date is. But you can see the kind of the difference in that. The difference of the format dictates that we use a different formula for the VLOOKUPs for these. So anyway, that's just a little subtle difference. So once we've got our probe export data, we can put that aside. And this export manager we can close, and we can close the M cubed program as well. We're done with that. We don't need that anymore. Unless you need to do interval reads, you're pretty much done with it. And we'll go and we'll open Ballarto and Hall Rd. And this is the process I usually do it in. I think there's also app sheet data that we need from these, isn't there? Ballarto, yep. Hall Rd, yep. So I need to add app sheet. Okay, beautiful. All right, so you can see we've got our data here. So I think I've opened that. We'll do Ballarto first because we've got all our M cube stuff here. So what we're going to do, and again, I don't have the Stream Deck right now, so I'm just going to do this manually, and I'm going to use the shortcuts that I had. I'd love to pick up where I left off. And it's the middle of the month, so it's around, usually we aim to read it on the 15th, unless there's a weekend or something, or it's a bit late. Around the 15th is best. So if it's the 15th, obviously we're going to use our current read. We don't want to use the EOM because it'll take the data from the 1st, which is literally right in the middle of the month. So you want to make sure you use this one for Ballarto and Hall Rd. I'm going to move that to the side. And I'm going to do my transfer old readings. And I'm going to do my VLOOKUP equals VLOOKUP. So the meter ID and probe export. I'm going to highlight the whole thing. Again, this is just me doing it manually. And the column I need is 2, false. Cool. I'm going to copy that all the way across. And then I'm going to change the column. So we want column 2, 4, 5, 6. Now this column is 0, and this column is also 0. 16 and 18. And you can see here we've got a beautifully nice, correctly formatted set of data here. Isn't that beautiful? We love that. So I've got all my columns here. Just going to copy them down all the way to the bottom. And you can see, by and large, they're all accurate. So we've got the total. These two add up to the P and FP add up to the total. We've got all our data here. And yeah, that's all we need to do, I think, so for that one. So we go copy, paste, values, and then done. So now what I do after this, so we've got our, obviously, we've got our M-cube data in here. We're still missing some reads. Before I move to the next section, I like to do, if I'm doing M-cube sites, I will do all of the M-cube data for all of the sites before I do, I fill in or I complete a sheet. So I'll go from one to the other, doing all of the process, putting all of the M-cube data into it. And this is because if you think about it, you know, this M-cubed data file is called probe export CSV. The other probe export file will also be called probe export CSV. You can only open one at a time. So I like to do the M-cube data first, then I'll close this M-cube data, and then I'll open my my other probe export, which is usually in the data current folder. Let's just make this appear. Ta-da! So there's my probe export data, which is this data, the EBR files. And you see, if I try to open it when I've got my M-cubed data already open, sorry, can't open two at the same time. So I'll do all of the M-cube stuff. Then I'll move on to the regular probe data. So these meters for our data current folder. And then I'll do the manual reads. So we'll do this one now. So let's just run this macro to move the old reads. Look up, comma, my probe export document, whoop, all the way over to false, boom. Okay, obviously this will be a lot faster when you have the Stream Deck. 4, 5, 6, 0, 0, 16, 18. Oh, what happened here? Whoops. 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 5, 6, 0, 0, 16, 18. Cool. Got that. Copy it down. Ooh, look at that. Only one M-cubed read. And that makes sense because these ones that start with an AU, these are pretty much always, M-cube data. So we've got just that one. Delete that and then save it. Cool. So now that's all done. So now I've put all my probe data from the M-cube meters into my results files, and now I can move on to the next one. So now I'm going to do, so I close the probe export folder for the M-cube stuff, and now I open it for the regular probe data. Yep. Let's put this down here. Not very many reads, but you can see from just looking at it, there's probably mostly all match. Let's see if there's anything in here. I don't think there's anything in Ballarto 2. No, nothing in there. But what I will do is I'll steal this formula and I will use it in Hall Rd. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Meter ID, boom. Ah, see, look at that. It finds it immediately. Okay. And again, middle of the month, so we use the current, and in this case, it's a meter ID. So we want to use our meter ID values. So You can do this on the Stream Deck. I'm going to take the long way. Boom, 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 boom. Cover that down. Look at that. Oh boy. Lots of misses. Vacant. These are all vacant. This one was closed. And looks like that one's God knows where. Bless you, me. Let's see. So now I'm done with this probe data. I can go into my read sheets sites data. And we'll just pick up what's left of them. So this is from app sheet. So we use our M meter ID app sheet because we're looking for the meter ID. 9. Uh, 10. Whoop. Sam, please, I've gotten them all. Oh, lucky. All right, so I think Alan said that this one didn't probe this time, which was weird. But he did read it manually, so could be something wrong with the meter. Oh no, so it was manually read last time too. I'll just write no longer probing. Vacant, no one on site. All this is the same. Vacant, 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 closed. This matches this, so I'll just get rid of that. And we're left with our ones here. Fix the dates. And one more little thing that we have to do with these. Actually, I think I have to do it with Ballarto too. No, I don't. Let me just put in the read sheet data for this one, and then we'll fix up that little note about the shoulders. It's pretty straightforward. All right. Oh, sorry. Copy. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. That's all good. All right. Whoa. What is this? What has he done here? He's put the meter number in? Oh no, I've done the wrong thing. 11. Oh. 12, 13, 14, 15, 19. Cool, so we can see he's got a photo. Wee. I've got a photo of this. This one's not right, which makes me think it's this one. That's why I have that there. And that looks good. Oh. Wait. Not good. There we go. Ta-da. Okay, and you can see that this kind of matches what we have in previous months, so we know it's accurate. So we'll just clear the filter and then copy paste. I just copy paste constantly. I'm always copy pasting. Boom. Get rid of these. Get rid of this. So it's all zeros. Looks nice. Oh, look at that. Variance is all within beautiful tolerance. Barely even off. It's the only one problem child right here. All right, that's it. So Ballarto is done. Now Hall Road, there's one more thing we have to do. Same as what we do with the Westfield ones in New South Wales. We need to add the shoulders to the off-peak. Okay. So anything that has a shoulder read here or a shoulder read here, we need to just put these and add them to this. So we've got these ones need to go into here. So I'm just going to go to another cell somewhere else, and I'll just go just below it and go, I'll go equals, well, shoulders plus shoulder plus off peak. Enter, and I'll just copy that down. Yeah. And then we have a formula that adds 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'll copy this, Control C. I'll paste the values. And then, very important, highlight all these with values in them and make them 0. Okay. Delete that. And that's it. And you should see that these sum up to the total, which 90929, 90929. They do. Cool. All right. So that one's good. The only note extra was something that has a read is this one. That's fine. This one's rolled over, so we're all good. That's it. Copy paste values, save, done. And that's those two done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.